Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's astrology update. Today is February 2nd, 2025, and it is a Sunday, which belongs to the lovely Lord Surya. Surya is an Aditi, which is connected to Vishnu and represents the beautiful luminaries throughout the universe. The sun also provides us with sustenance and food. It provides us with life, and there would not be any life without the sun. So we're very thankful for his solar and beautiful energy today. The color for the sun, or colors, I should say, are red, oranges, and yellows. And so I'm wearing red today. It's in honor of Lord Surya. I also have some matching yoga pants. I'll show you those too. So matching yoga pants with little like red roses and things on them. Now I'm going through Venus, Venus Subdasha and Saturn Mahadasha. So I also have white and black in my outfit as well. So I picked this out and I was like, okay, I want to honor everybody today. But yeah, so red is his main color. So if you want to do something for him, that is one way you can do it. So we're talking about Sun Day. Today is ruled by Lord Surya. And so that's the main energy of today. And a really good mantra that you guys can say for Lord Surya. And I do these in the morning as part of my mantra practice. It's a whole series of mantras recognizing the various energies of the day. And you can do this via a mala. Okay. And it's Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. And a very good Bij mantra, which we call a seed mantra for Lord Surya, is Om Hram Hrim Hram Sa Suryaye Namaha. And Bij mantras are like planting seeds in the ground which grow. And what that helps us is when we do those various mantras, and I'll share the other deities associated with this energy, is we are inviting the auspicious energies of those parts of the divine into our being and getting out of our own way. So one of the best ways I like to describe it is Surya represents the ego. So when we do those mantras, we're asking the divine source to come in and work on our ego so that we can get closer to Ananda or bliss or merging with that divine one energy that connects us all. So that's kind of the main energy behind that. And Surya does rule the ego, and there's a lot of egos going around in the collective. And so that's one thing that we can look into. Hi, Miss Egg. It is lovely to see you. Oh, Radiant Goddess Mode, thank you so much. You are so sweet. Well, I'm around all of you goddesses today. And Hershey is here, Grand Rising, Michelle and Jonathan, everyone in the chat sending blessings and positive vibes to all. Oh, thank you, Hershey. She had the most beautiful photos of the swamp in Florida that she posted, you guys. So definitely check those out. That was really fun to watch. And that sunset that you captured was beautiful, Hershey. Thank you for sharing that. Lord Surya thanks you for honoring him in his divine light. So that's beautiful. And yeah, so thank you all for saying hello, and thank you for the sunflower, Miss Egg. The sunflowers are very good for today. So the Adi Devata for Sunday this helps with us with our mind. So the sun can help us with our body, especially if our body's ruled by the sun. Okay, so that would be if your body is like in Magha nakshatra, which is actually in Leo. This would be a good remedy for you for that. Now, Adi, that's the mind. That's how we think, how we interact, things like that. That is ruled by Agni, which is the god of fire. Okay, and just to let you know, there are like a million different deities in Vedic philosophy, but they all represent various aspects or parts of the one divine source. So that's why there's so many names and forms that we look into. It's like looking at the finger, looking at the toe, looking at the eye. It's different forms and different personalities that come from divine energy. So Agni is the Adi Devata, or the mind Devata of Sunday, and a very simple mantra for him is Om Agniye Namaha. And he helps us to have a fiery, passionate, active mind. He also helps with digestion. You know, without fire, the element of fire, we wouldn't be alive, because all of the elementals work together in order to create our our existence here on Earth. So he helps us with our mind and directing it in ways that are not destructive, but in fact constructive, because fire can be used for cooking, but it can also be used for destruction. So it's important that we honor him. And then the Pratyadi Devata for today is Lord Shiva. He is the destroyer in the Trimurti. There is Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and then we have Shiva, the destroyer. And he's very necessary because if we didn't have destruction in our lives, we couldn't keep renewing, taking on new bodies, new experiences. The world would be very polluted without, destruction. So it's important that we honor him, and he's also the ruler of yogis, which is aestheticism, which means that we are giving up a lot of our material attachments in order to develop spiritually and more from a divine or truth-based experience here on earth, because this is a divine dream according to Vedic philosophy and a lot of other religions as well. So what he does is, when I see he's very strong in someone's chart, like for instance, there's something called a Sri Kanta yoga. Jeff Bezos has it. I think Gates has it, Warren Buffett, things like that. What that means is it's extremely rare. And it occurs when a soul goes, I did all this good stuff and I'm going to have to get paid back materially for how many births? How can I just get it done in one? Okay, so we're going to provide all your material needs on acid in one birth. You're going to use them all up. And then you got to come back from scratch. That's what a lot of these billionaires have in their charts, and that's what their souls came down here to do. It seems a little opposite, but what Shiva is doing is he's lighting a fire under their materialism and burning it all up in one birth so that they have to come back and live a more spiritual life. So I thought that was just one interesting yoga associated with the ego, sun, and Agni that we could talk about too at some point. There's lots of yogas in our charts, and I find them all really fascinating. They really point out to why our souls came down here and what we came here to do to get closer to that bliss and ananda. Because in the limiting adjunct, which are these bodies, it's hard to see past that because this is a very material world. So, Mosaic Insight, good morning. It is absolutely lovely to see you. I love that Lord Surya is shining on you in that photo. You look beautiful. And thank you for reminding people to hit the like button, Mo. You're so sweet. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've some of them are cards and some of them are gods and goddesses from Mandala. It's the Mandala publishing. I also have my own deities that I'm going to start using as well and introducing to you guys, which represent all the various mantras and things like that. But they're based off of this is Mandala Publishing, and it's gods and goddesses. So, yeah, all right. So, Miss Egg, yesterday I was emotional. I feel the fire today so much better. Watched the sunrise this morning. Oh, that's wonderful. We can honor Lord Surya by watching the sunrise, and to do your sunrise exercises, which is a really good remedy for Lord Surya. They're called the Surya Namaskar exercises, and it's a very simple yoga exercise. And you can look it up online. Okay, I can also teach you guys sometime if you're interested. And as the sun is rising, if you do those exercises, you are really rejuvenating the body and using the energy of that hour productively. That's why when my husband and I get up early in the morning, we do our mantras, we do our japa, we do our pranayama and Vastrika, which are breathing exercises, and then we step into our meditation. After meditation, the sun starts coming up, and that's when we do our Surya Namaskar, and that's when we do our asanas for the day, which are various yoga poses that help the body stay, nice and agile. And, it's not like body lifting or running or anything like that, which is very rajasic in nature or active. It's more sattvic, meaning you're moving your body in a way that's working on flexibility and strength in a very gentle way. Okay. And yes, jewels are found in the rubble. I love that, Jane. There is, that's very Rohini nakshatra of you to say. So, and thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I think this stuff's interesting too. It's one of my favorite subjects, which is why I love sharing it with you and everyone in the chat. So yes, looking at the morning light is very good for the body. It's great for the eyes. Agni actually rules the eyes. So that's fire. And so what it does is it allows us to slowly get ready, our biorhythms. It helps us slowly acclimate to the coming day. I said one of the worst things that people can do in the morning when they get up is have a really loud alarm and turn the lights on or the overhead on right away. The sun and the universe doesn't work like that. That's why we have a sunset, a sunrise. We have to slowly acclimate to the day, slowly get used to the noises that are coming. Because if you notice it during Guru Purnima, which is between 4 and 6, that's the best time to do your japa and kirtana meditation. It's very quiet and you don't hear the collective chatter, especially if you're tapped in as an empath. But as the sun starts to rise, the noises get louder and louder and louder until you get to kind of midday and into afternoon where it's just like boom, 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 bang, bang. So that's when things start to get to, you don't want to start the day like that. So I love that you said that, Kelly. That's really intuitive. And yes, mobility does stretch. And doing them every morning, even if you just do, I try to do at least 12 Surya Namaskars, and then I do other poses like the shoulder stand, the bow, the plow is one of my favorites. Sitting forward bend, doing forward bend with the legs both out so that you're getting the groin area, especially things like that. Honoring, our body and rejuvenating it as the sun rises is the best time to do it. And it helps us wake up and slowly acclimate to the coming light. So sunrise and sunset, yes, that's one of the best things to do. It's actually inauspicious to do any activities during that time because we're being asked to transition from day to night and night to day. And that's what that time allows us to do. So watching the sunrise and sunset is a beautiful way to honor Lord Surya and your biorhythms, because what that does is it helps your body every day acclimate to the coming and going energies. And you can see here, I've got the sun and Surya and Puerto Vallarta behind me. This is actually where we live. If you see off to the side, there's a taller building. We're right behind that. So that's where we are. So we get Lord Surya every day in the most beautiful form, right on the water. So I absolutely love it. It reminds me of the Libra sign. That's what the Libra sign is, and it's the sunset and the sunrise over the water. So, okay. And you tried doing some yoga this morning, but Wink wasn't having it. Oh my goodness, Rudy Willow. Guess what? That happened to us. We did all of our japa and everything, and we sat for meditation. And 9 minutes into meditation, Rosie goes, "Meow." And then she starts doing that thing on the bed where she's tapping and she's like, I gotta pee. And so we had to stop our meditation, take Rosie out to go to the bathroom and come back. So puppies can get in the way sometimes, but we deal with them. And I think that was Saturn Hora, and he rules dogs and service and responsibility. So he was reminding us to to stay alert of the hour. And you're a Libra, Miss Egg. That's wonderful. I love that. So yeah, if you look at the sign of Libra, it's the sun setting underwater or rising underwater. So it represents that transitional phase that we have in our ego. And the sun is actually debilitated in Libra for that reason, because it's asking us to look at things from a more collective view and less from a personal view, which is what Sun in Aries is, which is opposite Libra. So I love that. Good morning, Rose Blue. I hope you're feeling good today. It was lovely having you yesterday. And you're feeling the light bright of today. And YT Social, lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. And yes, I agree, Samantha. It's our dogs are so funny. And then, oh, you're tempted to move to Mexico too. Yeah, we moved here, and it is it's not only cheaper, but the food, and I should say more affordable, because the quality of service and food and everything is excellent here. The people are amazing. But it's also, it's so much calmer. There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of rajas here, but there's not as much pressure. Like I had to work 24/7 just to pay our bills back in the States because we were in the Seattle area. And here I can kind of like breathe a little more. So it is nice. And then you said Y2 Social, should we pursue business partnerships with women? I'm a man, Aquarius rising. Okay, if your sidereal Aquarius is there, I would definitely look into collective partnerships, not just men, not just women. If you look at that, it's more in line with the energies of the collective consciousness. My moon is in sidereal Aquarius, and I'm being called to start a lot and put a lot of my energy into helping people ground as they move. because as an Aquarian moon, I can be very emotionally stable despite moving around a lot and creating a space for people where they can ground themselves every single day. That's what my guides are working with me on. But definitely tap into meditation and ask about that, YT. That's great. And then, oh, you are a Libra rising. Okay. I guess it balances my double Leo. Oh, yes. That's great. And that means that you can bring one of my favorite nakshatras in Libra is Swati, and Swati represents the coral in a reef. And what coral does is it creates an environment for all to thrive. So you can be a leader in that, which I think is really beautiful. And my sun goes into Sidereal Libra in my Devamsha chart, so it's part of my dharmic path, which is why I feel drawn to that too, Rose Blue. That's wonderful. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Those are great emojis, YT Social. That's very Puerto Vallarta because we have the mountain jungles and then we have the ocean, and so we have both. We have the sun rising, the sun rising and setting in the mountains and in the ocean. So I love that. Thank you. Okay, yes, out of the rat race egg, definitely, definitely. You know, when we're working for other people's egos and those egos are out of control, you just got to move because they're not supporting you, your spiritual practice, and they're just draining you. And that's what we felt about the United States. So, and yes, I'm working on that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so affordable, right, Jane? I try not to use the word cheap either. It has negative connotations. It's the same. I never told my children, yeah, shut up. I said, quiet, please. Yeah, words are important. And I'm like, oh, don't say cheap, say affordable and quality because you get a lot of quality for the price here. So that is correct, Jane. I love that. And then, let's see. Oh my goodness, yes, I'm both Vedic and Western, and I've studied Vedic extensively in the last few years, gotten my degrees and stuff, and it's really interesting, Kelly. I think you'd really like it. It goes deep. There's multiple charts. There's a lot going on there. And I do plan to open up classes once we're a little more settled because I think that we're only here for, we'll see, another 4 months. And then we're going to have to renew our passports in the United States and then see where we're headed next. It could be another place in Mexico. It's just wherever the guides want us to go. So that's what we're looking toward. And then, oh, you're deleting your social media and it felt good. Okay, there you go. It's how you shine in the world. You got to regulate that. And then Level Up Lady is here. It is lovely to see you. Sagittarian Sun, Gemini Moon, Leo Ascendant. Feel a little bit lazy today. Well, one of the best things that you can do is get out in the sun and just allow that solar energy to hit you because it is a Surya day. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the moon. Okay, I go through the nakshatras. The nakshatras are various sections of each constellation in the sky that represents each of the uh, signs. Okay, so Uttara Bhadrapada, that falls in Pisces. And this is a really beautiful moon. It is Sattva, Sattva, Tamas. And a lot of these guys got hit by the eclipses last year. So they might be feeling a little foggy, a little off kilter. The reason for that is because they have a very sattvic way of living and being. They have a very sattvic mind, but they're still kind of trapped in I am the doer, I am the sayer. And a lot of Uttara Bhadras are atheists. Bill Maher, atheist. I have a few friends that are atheists, but are highly interested in spirituality, but they don't necessarily attribute it to their own lives. They just like the way it makes them think and feel, and they like how did she describe it? They liked the lifestyle behind it, but they weren't really taking it in on a soul level. So these are people that have been here multiple births and have developed a really sattvic way of being and living. That means pure, good food, trying to keep better company, things like that. But they lack a lot of spiritual discernment because they haven't really stepped into that because they're not quite comfortable as souls yet, really picking something out that works for them. So this is the warrior star. Okay, it's all about sacrifice, renunciation, seclusion, virtuous secrecy, empathy, and inaction. That's that empathy and inaction point that I was kind of alluding to, where someone could have a very sattvic lifestyle and a very beautiful life, but they don't really have a spiritual connection to it. Okay, and they have the power to bring down cosmic rain, and that is in the form of, if you look at the snake here, The snake is in the deep, deep, deep void of the cosmos. So they are kind of in their own existence, and they live a very sattvic life, but like the cosmic snake who lives in the depths of the ocean, they have to come up for air eventually. And when they come up for air, that's when they breathe in spirit. And either they go down and they go deeper into the tamasic waters and they shine a light there with their sattvic living, or they stick up to the surface for a little longer. It just depends on whether or not they're ready to make that breach. Because I know a lot of people who do not follow a spiritual path, but are doing it, it's daily part of their lives, but they haven't really connected yet. So that's kind of the main energy of this nakshatra. When they do start to connect, spirit is loud. Like it shows them signs and symbols at a huge level. Like they can't miss it, that level of stuff. I had a friend here who started getting into tarot, and she was this nakshatra, and she just pulled the cards and went, okay, show it to me again. And it did it again. And then it did it again. And it did it again. She goes, you can't make this up. I can't believe this is happening. She goes, get another deck. Oh my gosh. It was like spirit was showing up for her on 100% volume because she was so deep in that water when it came to listening. So, but she was living a very sattvic lifestyle and had a very giving, beautiful sattvic mind. She didn't have the spiritual discernment or understanding because she hadn't stepped into that yet. So that's kind of the energy of this moon, if I can explain that correctly. So yes, spirituality of the mind and the heart bypassing. Yes, yes, I love that, Miss Egg. That's a great description. So, and the stars that are in alignment with this nakshatra are Gamma Pegasi. So it's part of the Pegasus constellation. Okay. And you're a Pisces in Western and don't have a clue about Vedic. Okay, well, I'm thinking about starting up classes again, but what my guides told me to do first was do a mantra class. So I'm already putting together some PDFs, some images that you guys can set up on your altars, some other things if you're interested in joining Jonathan and I, because they gave me the okay on that. My Intro to Vedic Astrology course is about 30 courses, and they're about an hour to an hour and a half long. And they said, wait until you're a little more settled before you step into that, because that's going to be months long. Okay, and it's going to be once a week if you guys are interested. And I get really into it. And at every class, I'm going to be reading your charts as well. And it's going to be via Zoom, but that's a little later. And then Hershey, I don't relate to the Vedic side. I'm definitely not a Taurus sun. I'm all Gemini and I ain't changing. Well, that is very Taurus of you to say, because that's very stubborn. So I'm a Taurus ascendant in the Sidereal, Rohini. But people say, oh my gosh, you're such a Gemini. You're so gregarious. You even have that Gemini body, you know, which is kind of like long legs and arms and kind of like a spider monkey. But I can relate to the spiritual meaning behind Taurus and the nakshatras within it. So it took me a while at that too, because I was like, I'm a Gemini ascendant. What are you guys talking about? I can see both sides of anything. Anyway, so that's my Western Hershey. So I can totally see what you're saying, because when I made the jump from Western to Vedic, and I still reference both, I went through the same thing. So that's so funny. Because a Gemini, a true sidereal Gemini, would be open to both. A Taurus would be like, I'm sticking to my guns. So I love that. Oh, you're adorable. Oh my gosh. And Nancy, you would love a mantra class. Okay, I will go ahead and start putting that out there. It's going to, it won't be too long. And then I'm going to open it up to if you guys want to join us, and we can start a group and do something like that. So yeah, I'll go ahead and keep working on that, Nancy. Thank you so much. And people say they feel you, Hershey. It's a lot. It's a lot of information, and you don't have to understand everything. It's all at once. I'm still learning. It's a lifelong thing. Jyotish is so extensive that you can't learn it in one lifetime. It's multiple lifetimes and births that it takes to take this stuff on. So hi, Flowing. It is lovely to see you. Welcome. And it's okay. You can always do the playback. It's great to see you in the chat. And the lovely Nicole is here. Good to see you, Nicole, from Facebook. If you want to join everyone else in the chat, we are at YouTube at Astrological Tarot. Otherwise, I'll keep an eye on Facebook as well. And Nancy, Taurus Sun here. There you go. And oh gosh, you're right in the beginning there. So a Gemini Sun, Taurus New Moon, and Aries Rising. Very cool, Hershey. So you're one right after another. That's very fun. And then Kelly says, my hubby is a double Gemini, long, lanky, chronic overthinker. That is me, and that is my Western sign. But my Mars is also in Gemini, which I can kind of relate to the Vedic, because it's Vedic Mars. So it's interesting to see how those things interact. But my rising is Gemini, but it goes into Gemini in my Navamsha, which is my Dharmic chart. So when I was a little girl, I was kind of short and stout and like had the chubby cheeks, and as I got older, I turned long and lanky. So I was kind of heavy as a kid too, now that I'm thinking about it. But it's like I just grew straight up like a beam. But oh, flowing, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a rough day. Yesterday was hard on a lot of us. I was going through, I was putting together the mantra PDFs, and I was sitting here like this all day, like I'm gonna fall, and I almost hit my head on the desk. It was like there was something going on that just zapped me of my energy, but I was able to sleep really well last night because I was so tired yesterday. So know that you're just kind of feeling those collective energies, and that's why our remedies are so important. And then ego attachment even happens to the signs. Yes, it does. We are all guilty of that. And it's wonderful that we're bringing up ego because that is what Lord Surya is, as if he's our ego. And Jane, you're very mutable, a Pisces. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. So I kind of wanted to get into the overall tarot. Just let's look at the tarot for some energy today too, because I'm astrological tarot and wouldn't be the same without that. So let me just pull a couple cards, and I'm just going to use my regular Rider Waite today because this is my personal deck. This is my first deck. This guy bought it for me back in 2013 when I was in the women's shelter. My first class was taken from a lovely woman named Jessica Brown, and she was a single Black woman who was raising kids, and she got me into tarot and helped me with my discernment. And so this was my first deck. It's very amazing woman, really helped me out, and so did this guy over here. All right, so the first one I got was the Empress reversed. Now, this is my sign for America because doesn't she look like the Statue of Liberty? Okay, she's upside down right now. Okay, so our resources can bring complications. So it's possible that some people in the collective have had too much of a good thing. And the reverse position of this card means that they might have gotten a little lazy, a little apathetic, and they're going to step into an unfavorable period because they voted or they went with the more tamasic or lower ways of thinking and being. Okay, that overshadowed their family relationships, their friendships, and the more personal aspects of their lives. Okay, and that's what is bringing that coming energy here. It's a very selfish energy, and it's interesting that we're talking about sun and ego because there's a lot of egos that are out of control in the United States that are only looking after themselves. So while wealth and good times can be very enjoyable, those things have diverted the attention of a lot of the people in America, I should say the United States, from their more spiritual matters. And the way to get out of this tamasic element is to rajas, hard work, taking away some of the comforts. Okay, so from this we can expect some problems to arise, particularly concerning children, families, things like that. There's going to be more financial constraints coming our way, and the ability to make improvements in your surroundings and even your personal space can lead to a sense of frustration because things are about to get very expensive. Okay, this signals that time that use your creative gifts and logic to kind of like express yourself in a more spiritual way, in a less material way. Okay, so instead of surrounding yourself with things that make you feel happy, surround yourself with mantra, japa, prayer, satsang, good company. Take your mind off of the stuff in your environment and put it into what really matters, which is that beautiful heart space where the Atma, the Holy Spirit, the soul is waiting for you to tap in, because all of this stuff out here really is just a distraction. It's part of the dream. So don't neglect your creative pursuits, but realize that if you're holding any kind of negative beliefs about prosperity and money that you were unaware of, to just release those and release the expectations of people that are really struggling to deal with this coming energy. Okay. The the second card I got was the Ten of Swords. Okay, so this is about ruin, betrayal, but it can also lead to therapy because he's wounded. He needs some help here. And this is also the Hierophant. He's knocked out here. If you look, you can see his hands here. He's making the prawn mudra. That's the one of the spiritual preceptor. He's directing. That's the same sign that the Hierophant makes in the Rider-Waite. So they killed the priests, they killed the gurus, they killed the people who were giving wise and good advice. And they said, no, the ego came in and said, we're in charge, we're going to take over. And that's going to bring failure. So when I pulled this card, it's telling me to step away from the material and start to have faith from that divine guru, that beautiful voice within, and to rely on people in and around our environment that can help us through this challenging time. If you have, all of us have experienced shattered hopes and dreams, but take comfort knowing that the worst is behind us, okay? And if you're facing a lot of difficulties right now, know that we are stronger together, okay? And that these struggles can actually strengthen and deepen our relationship with people that are there for us and not for our stuff. I think that's what the reverse Empress is telling us. Because those aren't your real friends. Those aren't the people that are here for you unconditionally. You know, when you go through health problems or you lose your money or your home or, you know, you go through like something horrible like a fire or a death, the people that come around you and love you through those times are your true friends. Those are the people that you can really rely on, that have your back. Troubles can often lead to a greater compassion between people. And I think that's what we're being called to do as light workers. We must first build our own strong foundation based on our spiritual practice, and then reach out and build a community. Because these wounds are going to run pretty deep for the collective, and the healing is going to take a lot of time. So they're also saying that from the ashes, we are going to rise like phoenixes. Okay, that's going to bring a lot of renewed hope. And new aspirations and new goals will emerge, and they'll be less material and more spiritual, because that's what we're being called to do. Remember that as we all go through this, that many of us are much more fortunate than many. And if you keep this perspective in mind, you will find solace in sharing and experiencing your pain and helping others through theirs. Because we are going to head into that. Okay, so if you're still feeling the loss, if you're still feeling the betrayal, if you're still feeling the anxiety from that, know that there is a community there for you, and that there is a divine source inside of you that you can tap into for that solace. Okay, it's not out here. Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, so everyone have a wonderful, phenomenal day. You too as well. Sending positive vibes to you as well. And Miss Egg, I was in victim mode, crying, so emotional yesterday. The fire helped with empowerment. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that would be Agni. He can empower. He can make room for new growth. That's literally rising from the ashes. Okay, that's what I feel is going to happen, and it's going to take a very long time for us to do that and to get over the betrayal that we're feeling. Okay, and Rose Blue, I plan to ride a bus to Texas, Florida, March 4th to visit my parents. I won't fly 3 hours this time. Okay, all right. So I'm glad that you're making plans. And yes, we're releasing lots of stuff in this egg, definitely, whether it's, you know, materially or expectationally, all of those things. And keep the hope. I love that flowing, and I love the light, the light in your emoji there. Not the emoji, your handle says peace. It's really beautiful. I love that. And Kiki is here. I would be more and more scared as a poor American if I didn't have the hope of Aquarius. My moon is in Aquarius, and I've been called to start a collective movement regarding mantras and spirituality, and trying to find as many people as we can to get together to do this. And you found out who stole your tools. Okay, very good, Rose Blue. And know that, you know, it's not the tools that are the magic, it's you. It's that spirit inside of you that's pushing through. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I did actually pick out a passage for us to kind of look into, and this is from Concentration and Meditation by Swami Sivananda. You guys can get this at the divinelifesociety.org or sivananda.org. These are all free PDFs. Okay, tons of literature, all free, because he had that beautiful Saraswati yoga, and he shared a lot of his knowledge for free. All right. So this is going into the lower mind, which is now the reason why the United States is going through what it's going through. Okay. This is the overall energy that a lot of us are feeling as light workers that we have to push against and shine a light and a torch to, and also not feed. Okay. Okay. So the self-assertive Sadhaka is arrogant and tries to make a figure in society. These are leaders, both spiritual and material, that are coming out of the woodwork right now. He wants to maintain a position and lots of prestige in society. He poses himself that he is a great yogi and possesses several yogic powers. He claims that part of a superior sadhaka or an advanced yogi with greater knowledge and experience of nirvikalpa samadhi. Nirvikalpa samadhi is when you sit in meditation and you realize that there is no body, there's just a bunch of atoms going around. And you see yourself as a thought wave. I've only experienced this twice. Once it was a flash, and then the second time was September 22nd of last year, and it completely changed my perspective spiritually. It's very difficult to attain, especially for a long period of time, because you're not here. It's very difficult, but I don't know how gurus or sadhakas can handle it, because it's a lot to walk around with. But so these are the things that get in the way. These defects of vanity, arrogance, and rajasic, that's passionate, utterances are present in most human nature on a smaller scale. He who is unwilling to obey the orders of his guru and respect elders and superiors. He is ever ready to break discipline. He's got his own ideas and impulses. The habit of disobedience and disregard of discipline are ingrained in him. He sometimes promises he will be obedient to his guru and elders, but the action done is frequently opposite of the promise he makes. Non-observance of discipline is indeed a serious obstacle in sadhana. That is our spiritual practice. We got to keep with it. He sets the worst possible example to others. This would be like an Ayurvedic practitioner who eats at McDonald's. Okay. He who is disobedient, who breaks discipline, who is not straightforward with his guru, who cannot open his heart or preceptor to a spiritual guide, cannot be benefited by the help of a guru, because he's not open. He's not willing to take instruction. He remains stuck in his own self-created mire or mud and cannot go on the divine path. Mud is tamas. That means it's a seed in the ground that has no way to grow, because it hasn't reached Surya or the sun yet and begin to allow the light to shine in and help them grow. The way I describe tamas, rajas, and sattva is tamas is underneath the mud. That's the seed. When we are open to that spiritual light and preceptor, we start to grow a stalk. And then we grow and we grow and we grow and we grow and we grow. And then all of a sudden we're above the water in this beautiful bloom, and that's sattva. That's where we sit and go, oh, this opens and we can see the truth of this place. Okay. Non-observance of discipline is indeed a serious obstacle to sadhana. He sets the worst possible example. That's hypocrisy. Okay. All right. So he remains stuck in his own self-created mire and mud and cannot progress on the divine path. What a great pity. His lot is highly lamentable indeed. He practices disassimilation. He is always a hypocrite and pretends falsely. He exaggerates things. He makes false use of his imagination. He conceals his thoughts and facts. He distorts and denies any concealment of the facts. He denies positively certain facts. He tells terrible and deliberate lies. He does this to cover up his disobedience or wrong course of action, to keep up his position and have his own ways, or indulge in his old habits and desires. That's from the animal self. And you can actually look at people's charts to find out if they have an animal self. You go to the Shad Ball, and you can determine the strength of each planet in their karmic report card and find out, oh, okay, there's a little more animal here, and there's some deva over here. Someone who has a deva sun or ego, like boom, like really, really, really strong, is our current president. His Saturn, which is service to the collective, is animal. So that points to a major imbalance in his soul that he's going to have to rectify. In doing the things that he's doing now, he is going to have to repay every single person he's taken advantage of in a future life. And that's going to help out Saturn go from animal to human to Deva, which is Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. So that's how we learn. Okay, and each planet represents a different aspect of the divine, the animal, and the human experience. And some of us are still coming out of the animal experience. Some of us are mired in the human, and some of us are reaching the Deva. But each planet has its own vibration. And if you have a Deva planet and an animal planet, it creates a massive imbalance in the way that you live. Okay. So he himself does not know exactly what he's doing, as his intellect is clouded by impurity. He does not know what he means and does not mean what he says. This would be an example of someone who has a very weak Mercury and a very strong Sun. That the intellect is weak, the understanding is weak, but the ego's off the charts. He never admits his faults or defects. Even if anyone points out his defects or tries to correct him, he feels extremely annoyed. He wages war against them. He has more brute in him. He has the most dangerous habit of self-justification. He always tries to justify himself, to stick to his ideas, and to maintain his own position or course of action by bringing any kind of foolish, inconsistent arguments, clever tricks, or devices. He misuses his intellect to support his own foolish actions. These defects are common in someone who is lesser and in others in a greater degree. So I talked about that lesser and greater degree as in if one of our planets is very weak and one of our planets is very strong, it does create a big rift. Now, what causes a really strong sun? If you read the Ramayana, which was my favorite version is from Swami Sivananda. He creates really, really great books for Westerners to understand because he takes the Sanskrit and he spells it out for us. Is that Ravana, who is the villain of that play, was actually a sage second to Vishnu. And he created him, which is the preserver, meaning he was like way, way, way Sophic, like Aranyagarbha, way up there in the what's it called, the Lokas, because the higher the Loka, the higher the aestheticism and the understanding in the divine light. So he was way up there next to Vishnu and Lakshmi, but he hadn't merged yet. And so what Vishnu did was, this guy loves me too much, let's make him my enemy. So he put him on Earth and he made him a king without any boundaries for 3 births. And it turned him into a guy that was a cannibal who like was crazy and like ate sadhus, and he was just like a demon on acid. And it came to the point where it was like, okay, now Vishnu's got to come down because he's the complete opposite of those things and fight him. So it's like this dual thing going on. And long story short, he eventually merged with Vishnu, but he had to do so as Ravana because he's ravenous, because he represents all of the senses that are out of control. Because if we get everything that we want and birth after birth after birth, it can turn us into massive narcissists. And if we don't have to work for it, our other planets suffer. And they're just over there going in animal mode, going, well, you haven't been practicing us. We're just like, to read a book, serve somebody. And they're going, no, it's all about me. That's how an ego gets out of control. It's multiple births where they've just been fed and fed and fed and fed ego. So he does this in order to create this dynamic where he has to come down and battle Ravana and create this lesson for the humans that are on Earth to follow and realize, oh, this and this are the same, but this is how we become more Sophic, and this is what we're supposed to avoid. It's a lesson. This is the plane of opposites. It's also the plane of Mrityu-loka, where all things die. So the divine Leela that's here is teaching us to work with the opposites in a way that leads us to Ananda or bliss. So that's the main energy there. So, and then let's see what you guys are saying here. All right. Lots of things about, yeah, okay. After this week, 2 tragedies. They don't, okay, all right. Just seeing what you guys are saying. Oh, you're talking about, oh, you went through Katrina, Rose Blue. Oh my goodness, I did not know that. My extended family lived in New Orleans and went through Katrina. That was difficult. And I actually, when I was teaching full time at that during 2005. We had a lot of kids from New Orleans come up to Washington in the school that I was working at to get away from the flooding because their areas were destroyed. So, oh my goodness. And yes, gaslighting, Miss Egg. Yes, the gaslighting is really big, and it's important that as light workers, especially because we have a Venus, Rahu, Neptune conjunction going on right now, that we really are careful about the company that we keep. Because Rahu is a very demonic energy. He causes eclipses. That's what caused the April 8th eclipse. This was going to bring us Project 2025. It was the eclipse in Varuna, which rules the woman's womb, that brought us Roe v. Wade. That's why people go, they're like, how are you sure these things are going to pass? And I'm like, there was an eclipse and it came out. That's just how it works. It's a demon eating the sun. That's the light and going, tasty. And it takes a big chunk out of the light and out of the understanding of the collective, and they move in the wrong direction. That's why you're not supposed to look at eclipses, because you can get a demon download. It's important to do Mrityunjaya mantra, close the windows, and just be in peace on that day and not allow those energies in. So, oh my gosh, Jane, my friend who has cancer just got her snap taken away. She's in the hospital with COVID. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. The energies and the egos that are coming through right now, that's the tamasic energy that we're having to fight. And we'll continue to pray for everyone in the collective. And I'm going to see if my husband got a Social Security. I want to send her some money. Well, that's very sweet of you, Jane. We do need to really help each other out as we go through a lot of these things. So if you guys like that, please let me know. I do plan to go more into the Gita as well and talk about more about what Sattva, what Rajas, and what Tamas looks like. If you guys are open to that, I'm here. But I definitely want to start a mantra practice, and I'm going to do a class first. You guys can see, how it works, why we do it, how it helps. If you do join the class, you can give me your birth dates and we can find out what planets you really need to focus on so that you can create that balance. Like if Donald Trump was in my class, I would have him doing everything for Shanti. Guess what that is? Karma yoga, which is selfless service, fasting, a vegetarian diet, service to the collective without any expectation of reward, donating. Guess who has a really strong, guess who has a God energy, a Deva energy in Saturn? Barack Obama. He and Donald Trump are polar opposites when it comes to their planetary strengths. So it's really interesting to see how, if you look at Barack Obama and other leaders that are so service oriented, they have really strong Saturns, but their suns aren't as strong. So they're really bad at self-promotion because they're working so hard for the collective. They forget to come up for air and go, oh yeah, this is what I did for you. So that's kind of the energy there. For Barack Obama, I would be like, okay, we need to work on this ego. You need to start self-promoting yourself because you're doing all these amazing things for the collective and people need to see it. For Donald Trump, I would say, okay, take a step back. We need to really do some remedies here and work on selfless service to the collective because you're a little low over here. So that's kind of how it works. And I also look at various other charts. Who's your Mahadasha Lord? What major yogas are happening in the sky that are affecting you and how to prepare for them? And what the mantras do is they cleanse that area and they provide a way forward that allows you to make the most benefit out of the lesson and elevate your soul to those higher levels of being and thinking, because our goal is to move up the ladder of understanding and reach that ananda, that bliss, that understanding of divinity of all levels. And what I love about Vedanta is it embraces all religions and cultures, and you can find it in all religions and cultures as well. So it's a philosophy that embraces all. So it's a very inclusive thing. So you don't have to worry about that. Everyone is welcome, even atheists. Okay, because there's a way, because it's all about concentration and meditation. If they're willing to do some of the practices, even looking at a dot on the wall, it works. So, oh, Delphi is here. It's lovely to see you, Delphi. Thank you for coming and saying hello. And yeah, so I hope you have a magical Saturday too, Miss Egg. And yes, we all need balance flowing. So I'll go ahead and put the mantra class together and I'll advertise it and you guys can sign up and we can see where it goes from there. But I think that's kind of a start with how we can maybe connect and make these things work for us. Oh, if anything, it gives you something to do in the morning rather than think about the crazy stuff going on in the world. So, all right, guys. So I'm not going to be on tomorrow because Saturn Hora is going to be taking place at 8:30 to 9:30, but I will be on Tuesday. And so I'm going to be here Tuesday through Sundays. That's when I'm going to be doing the daily readings. So I hope that you can follow along, and I look forward to seeing every single one of you in the chat. And yes, oh, I'm so glad you loved that class, Jane. I will go ahead and put it together and try to create. Yeah, I'll create some dates and times that hopefully work for the rest of you. I'll ask my guides about that. So, all right. So I'm sending you all lots of love, and I will see you on Tuesday, which is Martes and Mars Day. And until then, I'm sending you lots of love. Take care, everyone.